Good afternoon, everybody. Hold on. Is my microphone plugged in? Hey, now I probably should have checked that before I went live. So once again, I got so busy, I realized I didn't record my usual Wednesday afternoon videos, so I figured I would just hop on for 30 minutes on a live stream and say hello to everyone. Hey, Kentucky Survival, welcome. Um, I do not have a specific plan for my little live stream tonight. I normally do a topic of some significance. So we're just going to cruise the news for a little bit, say hi to everyone, and we're going to, see what comes up. I would like to point out that there are still a lot of delays in the airports. Dallas is still almost 50% delayed. Denver, the north and north, or rather the west and northwest look pretty good. O'Hare looks the way O'Hare usually does. DC has a lot of delays, which shouldn't be a surprise. I have no idea why Miami has delays. They were like 80 degrees all week. So, hey, Billy, what's going on, Kentucky? Hey, Billy. And yeah, it seems relatively Dallas, they still have. So, here's the weird thing we're in Texas, we get these big temperature swings even in the winter. So, at night, it's going into the single digits. Then with wind chill, it's going negative, right? So it's really cold. During the day, it's like 40. So we're getting a lot of stuff will melt. It'll all run downhill, right? But before it all drains away, it freezes. Hey, Loretta, welcome. Hey, Blue Butterfly. And what we wind up with is you wind up with the all the stuff that just melted now becomes an ice skating rink. Yeah, exactly. And we wind up with these really wicked black ice patches all over the place. And then, of course, people don't pay attention when they're driving and they go blowing through the intersections. They try to hit the brakes the way they normally do, and they do a fast and furious sideways right through the intersection. So, a big recommendation aside from giving yourself extra time to get places is give yourself extra space. And if you're coming up on a light, and even if it's only partial snow, hey Teresa, what's going on? Um, take your time. Like hit the brakes gently. Don't crank on those brakes and send yourself through. excuse me, through those intersections because you're just going to wind up hurting yourself or getting in a wreck, which would be terrible. Um, so I do want to notify everyone that later tonight, my very dear friend Mr. Hudson. If I'm trying to copy his, there we go, should be doing, so about an hour and change from now, should be doing his first live stream in several weeks. I think he's finally to where he's a bit caught up. We're All Gonna Die Wednesday, number 155, should be in about an hour and a half. I won't be that long on here, but make sure you go say hi to the guys. And the Four Horsemen will be on Friday. Hold on, prepping with Sarge. I will put that on here as well. That is not what I was trying to do. Oh, there we go. That will be Friday. Friday on Prepping with Sarge. We will be all on his channel doing the Apocalypse Bingo. And I think Vision comes on tomorrow night, but he has not pre-posted his stuff yet. Next Tuesday, we were busy, but the Tuesday after, we will be returning to the Roaming Prepper channel for the beginning of the 2026 season of the Four Horsemen officially, and then we'll kind of go from there. Hey, Katrinka, what's going on? Hold on. KP, what's hello, hello, hello. Wait, I lost Katrinka. I know she's in here somewhere. Ta-da! So, yeah, the storms are still, there is a residual effect from what's from what happened. Uh, just plan for it accordingly. If you're going to travel or if you have to travel, I actually am going to have to travel, but we all decided, there's a group of us, we're like, screw it, it's a 5-hour drive, so we're just going to drive. We're not even messing with the airports because we just don't want to mess with it because airports are a pain in the butt. I do want to share something fun with you. Um, so let me pull up this. It's a commercial. Apparently, there was an attack on a congressperson, and I'll let you decide what you think of it. But it does look really silly. Hang on just a second. Let me bring that screen up. So here we go, and ta-da! So it's Carly Shimkus and Todd Piro. I can't even say that girl's name. Anyway, um, excuse me. I will let you guys decide. That was staged. That was the worst acting ever. But I will let you guys decide for yourself. And again, we shouldn't be nasty to Congress people, at least not throw things on them. But I don't think this was real. I will tell you that they did find that this guy is Alex Kazaskis or something, and his wife is a big financial supporter and organizer for AOC. But anyway, I'll let you guys watch it, decide for yourselves.
Washington with the very latest on the Minnesota protests and what lawmakers are saying today as both sides, Doug, try to
Can you guys hear the audio?
Situation.
Carly and Todd, good morning. President Trump hoping to turn down the temperature now in Minneapolis. But if anything, this battle over immigration enforcement may be getting more heated. Take a look at what happened last night at a town hall event there with Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will.
No. Ilhan, you need to go get checked.
No, we will continue. I'm not going to get away with it.
Omar was confronted and sprayed by a man there in the audience. It's not clear what the substance was, and Omar later said she was okay. The man, identified as 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierzik, was arrested. No word yet on motive, but as you heard, Omar had just called for the firing of DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. She had also called for ICE to be abolished. President Trump yesterday traveling to Iowa, saying he still backs Noem, even as he sent border czar Tom Homan to take over operations in Minnesota.
With the shift in Minneapolis and Tom Homan going to Minnesota, do you still have confidence in DHS Secretary Kristi Noem? You brought up the success at the border.
Look,
you do.
She was there with the border. Who closed up the border? She did, with Tom Homan, with the whole group. I mean, they closed up the border. The border is a tremendous success, one of the most secure borders in the entire world.
Now, as for the attack on Omar, here's what U.S. Capitol Police are saying. A man is in custody after he decided to assault a member of Congress, an unacceptable decision that will be met with swift justice.
So I don't know what to make of that. Could it be a drunk dumbass? Sure, I'd buy that. Could it be staged? Absolutely. She's under serious investigation. They just found out her husband's winery, which they've been doing $1 million write-offs for the winery, no longer has a web page. It's gone. Like, it doesn't exist. And there are no reviews, no stores have bought wine. So this, yeah, distraction. I don't know what's going on. Well, actually, Neil, they say it was apple cider vinegar. Yeah, no. Yeah, that was way too staged. Oh, jeez. And Oh, hold on. So Amazon arrives. Amazon always comes by around this time. So either that or it's a solicitor. Neither of whom. I will let the dogs. Pepper, come here. I recognize each dog by their bark. Okay, so I have one of my defenders here. Uh, where to get the money for the wine? Yeah, so Neil, Pepper, why'd you bark at my foot? She looks at me and goes, "Purr." So anyway, okay, are we better now? Are we not angry? Hi. All right, go play with the kitty. She's like, I don't like the kitty. So the cat, the little gray cat we adopted, um, on the street protesting. I'm telling you. So anyway, it's I think it was staged for pity as distraction. Oh, look, your rhetoric is hurting me. Now, if it wasn't indeed a drunk that sprayed her with vinegar and is just being a jerk, hypothetically, let's give the benefit of the doubt, I would fire my entire security team. How did you let a guy come in with whatever bottle of whatever he had and get within 5 feet of a congressperson? Okay. So either A, her people are all idiots, or B, it was the winery has no vineyard. Right. That's what I'm hearing. It was like an abandoned building. I'm not sure. Neil, I would encourage you. Someone brings vinegar to a thing. Yeah, I know. Neil, I'd encourage you go on X and look at the video of the guy before. He was doing all this like weird faces, like very, very overacted. Like, it's like the kid who says, "Oh, drunk Uncle Tom, I want you to be in my play," and drunk Uncle Tom overacts everything. That's what he looks like. It's just this weird. I don't know. It was just all strange. Anyway, um, but I'll tell you, barely even. Well, that's the thing, and you would think with all the rhetoric, right? Charlie Kirk was surrounded by legitimate, like, security contractors, and he got popped by somebody at a medium distance. I'm pretty confident if someone had run at him, those guys would have grabbed him. And there's a whole nother storyline with Mr. Kirk, so we won't get into that. But I would think you're in a closed area. You have complete control of who goes in and out of the room. There's a bunch of rhetoric about her. She's under investigation. If I was the security chief, I'd be checking everyone. They'd be getting the wand. I'd be looking at bottles. Please open the bottle. I'd like to smell what you have in there. Sorry, sir, you can't bring that bottle. You have to throw it out. And again, she's small. If someone actually went after her, she would have been running away. The fact that he didn't just grab her, you guys have seen the footage of the guy who he had been let out of jail like 3 times for assaulting women in the street and finally got to a judge who was a woman who did not like what he did. And the judge said, you've been given 3 or 4 chances to prove us wrong. You're not. So you're getting 7 years in prison for both assaults. And the guy ran up to the judge's chair and went over. I mean, knocked the gavel out of her hand and everything to attack her. And then, everybody jumped on him. Hey, conserve. Yeah, I just don't, okay, had he sprayed gasoline, right? Gasoline is caustic. It'll burn your skin. You could set someone on fire. I would have said, okay, that guy was an idiot, but he's like, I'm going to be violent. I don't know what I have gas. So he goes and gets gasoline and throws it on someone. I'm just not feeling what happened there. I really am not. It just seems stupid, but it is what it is, right? So we'll see where that goes. Oh, this guy's a great video. Zoomies behind that. Oh, we're gonna have a full brawl behind me. Hold up. Okay, so let's see what this guy says. Hey, Rage in the Cage. What's going on? Hey, JD. So let's share this screen real quick. And this guy is oh shoot, he's hold on a second. Dr. G explains. He's a body language and criminology type. So let's see what he says. Let me know if you can hear the audio.
Clinical and forensic
Really?
psychologist, as
Hey,
well as
go over
body
there and fight.
language expert. And today, we're going to be analyzing the behavior and body language of Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Before we get started with this, a couple of quick things. One, I wanted to make sure you know this is not a
No, we're
psychological
gonna hide under the
kind.
table
These
and
are
look
just my
at that.
opinions. In addition to that, I do want to remind you to like and subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. All right, let's go. What we're going to be analyzing today is Representative Omar getting sprayed with an unknown substance. I've had a number of people message me asking whether or not this was staged. So let's watch it. We're going to check it out from a few different angles, and we'll talk about if there's anything that stands out. All right, let's just jump right in.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
So everything we're seeing so far is pretty standard from the way that Representative Omar typically speaks. This is during a town hall, so nothing unusual so far. All right, there's a lot to break down right here. So as you can see, someone walked up to her, sprayed her with a plastic syringe full of an unknown substance. Let's watch frame by frame exactly what happens and see what stands out.
Must resign or face impeachment.
If you notice that she looks up, she nods very briefly right before she gets sprayed. Now, the way I interpret that is that she glanced up and very briefly saw someone standing up, but that she decided to continue on with her statement.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem.
And this is very subtle, but I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Must resign or face impeachment.
That was it right there. This quick little, this brief, and that was what I was referring to, this brief little head nod like that. I think that was just her noticing that somebody was standing up.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Now, this is where the body language starts to get very different than what I would have anticipated. I want you to watch her face and her body when she's getting sprayed. Like I said, we're going to look at this from a different angle too.
Resign or face impeachment.
So there was a startled response. You saw her eyes close, but watch what she does next. So immediately she starts going towards the man. She raises her fist up like she's going to strike him. Watch. So immediately she gets sprayed. She immediately springs into action and starts to go towards him to confront him. This is very unusual for this type of situation. Typically, when someone's startled like that, they have to make sure that they're okay. They got to make sure that they're not hurt. So the fact that her initial response was an angry response is not, it's obviously not impossible that somebody can have that response, but it's not at all what you would expect for a politician in a situation like this, particularly not somebody to actually go up and threaten to strike someone. So watch her right arm right here. Let's watch this a couple more times. It's very odd.
It's impeachment.
See, there was no expression of fear right there. We'll see that at a different angle. That'll give us a much clearer image of how she looked right when she got sprayed.
Surprised either.
But what
like
we're
I
seeing
could have lived
is a
with
brief startle
surprise,
response, but we don't see any fear. All we're seeing is anger.
It's impeachment.
See, right there, you're seeing her get startled, and there's a bit of surprise. Her eyebrows are going up. That's what happens when we feel surprised. But there's no assessment of the situation. She doesn't stop and freeze, because typically we go with the fight or flight response. When something like this happens, it's unexpected. The unexpected nature of it is the shocking part of it. So we freeze to assess what's going on, and then we try to escape, and when we can't escape, we fight. She went directly to fight. She skipped freeze. She skipped flight. So that is an odd response. That's not typically what we associate with these kinds of shocking situations.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. He sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will.
No. You're fine.
So I also want to point out, and this is just me, if I got hit by any kind of chemical, unless I was immediately being attacked, right? Like this, the guy sprays, you'd be startled, but then wouldn't you look at yourself like, what the hell just got put on me? Is it gas? Is it acid? You know, what was put on my person? Um, I just thought it's weird. But anyway, we'll continue with this guy.
So I want you to watch a couple of things here that stand out. There are peculiar aspects to this just because most people would not react this way. That doesn't mean that it was staged, but her behavior is different than most people would react. Just check this out right here.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
We're seeing no signs of fear. She's touching other people after she's been sprayed with this substance. You know, she's putting her hand on the man's arm. You see her raising her eyebrows saying, "We will continue." So having no idea what she was sprayed with, she does not express any fear about that, which I would think most people would be afraid. Is this toxic? Is it poisonous? Do I need to go and get checked out? Maybe I should stop here. At this point, there seems to be zero fear. We're not seeing any expression of fear on her face at all. She raised her eyebrows to say, "We're going to continue," which is to bring emphasis to her face, but we're not seeing any emotions that relate to fear.
No, we will continue.
No. Feel fine. You need.
And then she touched the man's chin right there.
No, we will continue.
No. Feel fine. You need to go get checked. No, we will continue this.
And you can see her teeth bared a little bit when she said, "We will continue." So there's a lot of anger, not a lot of concern or consideration about what that substance was. So the fact that she is touching other people, touching this man's face, it shows a lack of awareness about the fact that this could be something poisonous. This could be something dangerous. There just does not seem to be any comprehension that she is in danger whatsoever at this point.
No, we will continue.
No. Feel fine. You need to go get checked. No, we will continue this.
We're not gonna get away with it.
So what's interesting, you look at the other people are like, hey, we need to change your shirt. We need to get this off of you. Tommy. No, I've raged. I figured you hit the wrong key. It just it doesn't look right. And this guy, he's done other physical lot of comments being held. Really? Huh. Thank you, KP. I didn't they've been holding quite a few comments, and sometimes they're not racist or ugly or anything. I think recently they've changed the algorithm to where it starts it starts anything that vaguely resembles some offensive thing gets shut down. And sometimes they don't make sense. I don't know why. But see, but Tiger, that would be in a case where the guy would be an imminent threat, right? But and you popped in a little late. I don't know if you saw it, but he said normally you'll self-evaluate, and kind of get a situation going, a situational awareness, and then decide, do I flee or do I fight? And none of that was there. She just went to, I'm going to charge a man who's 150 pounds heavier than me, which logically doesn't make sense. But it's you would think if I got sprayed with a chemical that stunk, I'd be like, oh, let me get my hoodie off my body because I don't know what I just got put on me, and then I'll go beat this person senseless. But you know what I mean? That anyway, I'll let this guy continue. Super interesting the way he breaks it down.
Go get checked. No, I don't know what.
We're gonna keep talking.
So you can hear the anger in her voice, the pressure in her voice. That emotion is very real. Let's look at another angle of this so we can get a better idea, a better feel for what some of the expressions were on her face when it happened.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
So right there where you saw her look up, that's when she noticed that somebody stood up.
Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
So now you're seeing a startled response. Once again, there's the surprise. The eyebrows go up when we're feeling surprised. So that's a genuine reaction of surprise for sure. And then, as I pointed out before, she immediately springs action and goes towards danger. That's what's so peculiar about this, because typically, like I said, we go through freeze, Then we try to escape, and when we can't escape, then we fight. She goes directly into fight. And that was a very brisk walk. That was not an attempt to demonstrate fight. She was directly in fight. She went directly for him.
We will continue this. I'm not going to get away with it. I don't know what.
See, so this was a pure anger response. So as she's saying, we will continue. Eyebrows down, baring her teeth. She is very angry, and that's legitimate. That is real anger right there. Now we're going to look at one last angle.
Impeachment.
So we saw that startled response once again. Once again, real anger right there. No question, that was an angry response. This was not fake anger. She was mad. So you see other people around her. You can see fear. You can see sadness. You can see people that are shocked. She does not show shock. She just shows anger.
So anyway, I'll let you guys do the rest of the homework on that. I thought it was interesting, his breakdown. Was it a drunk idiot? Was it a setup? Who the hell knows? But it does speak to something that I did want to bring up to everyone. And let's assume that this guy legitimately was a drunk or stoned or whatever. Although if he was a stoner, he would have fallen asleep in the chair and would not have had the motivation to get up and spray anyone with vinegar. First punch. Yeah, I saw that. But my vote's set up. Hey, Blue. People have been amazingly vile on the internet and in the streets. And I know a lot of channels have been noticing that. I think a lot of you have also been commenting as to how people have been acting. This leads to something that I did want to touch on tonight. The demeanor of society is a bit dark, if you hadn't noticed. And situational awareness is important. And I think it's key to for all of us, because again, you can prep all you want with gear and Ready Wise, Mountain House, and all that fun stuff, and then you don't pay attention to what's going on around you. And yay, you have all this stuff at the house, and then you get hit by a guy who's texting while he's driving because you didn't look while you were crossing the street. You know. And I think, and I've said this, said this in a video a long time ago. How do you convey situational awareness? Like, we all say it. Oh, we must have situational awareness. Well, what the hell is that? Right? Generically speaking, it's an awareness of things in your vicinity that can have a negative impact or a positive impact on you. In one way, shape, or form, things that can affect you. If I'm standing in an empty street next to a lamppost, I'm aware I should be aware the lamppost is there. Okay. All of us have seen teenagers, they're playing on their phone or they're goofing off, and one turns to run from the other and runs right into a lamppost. My kids did that as teenagers. They'd be fighting or screwing off, and then one takes off to flee from his friend or his sister, and bam, into a lamppost. You know what that was? A lack of situational awareness. Was the lamppost going to come and hit my son or one of the teenagers? No. Lampposts don't normally do that. But he didn't pay attention to where it was in respect to where he was, and he'd turn and run and ran into the post. Being aware of what's around you is super important. And how do you do that? Like, I've said this before, I've said it to people, you need to be situationally aware. And they're like, okay, so do I just look around me? No. What it is to get in the habit, and this is just my interpretation, I'm not some kind of like analyst or anything, but it's something that I have to deal with at work. When I have high pressure hydraulic lines, I have explosives, I have large vehicles, forklifts, 200-foot cranes all around me, any one of those things can suddenly very negatively impact me. And if any of them do, I will cease to be here or I will be very injured. And that would also be bad. Get in the habit of looking around you and just interpreting as best you can. And this doesn't have to be paranoia, it's simply a question of self discipline. When you get out of your car, you park in a spot to go to the mall or to the grocery store. Before you unlock your car and just get out, do you look around? Do you look around at the people and vehicle around you? Is it normal behavior? Are people just going, putting their contents in the car? Maybe somebody on a phone call in his car. Is there someone there staring at you? Is someone sizing you up? When you get into your vehicle, lock the doors. Because once you're in the vehicle, you have a limited view capacity. Lock the door. So if you missed a threat and they try to come in on you, well, now they have a door and a window in the way. Also, a question of when you go, for instance, into a store. Get in the habit of looking around the entrance. Remember, bad guys have to get in the building, right? You can't just, I mean, I've never seen a guy morph into a building like an X-Man. You have to enter a door. So when you walk in the door, do you pay attention to what's around you as you walk in? Are there cashiers? Is there security? I've I'll go in, like Target has coffee shops or sometimes a Starbucks in the front. I'll go in and I'm like, well, I really don't have anything here. My wife's getting whatever, and that's going to be 20 minutes. So I'm going to go get a coffee. I'll place my order and I'll sit facing the door and I'll just wait for my coffee because I want to see what's happening in the door. And I will look around at people and they'll all be like this. And they won't have any awareness of what's around them. Uh, the fact that somebody in theory got that close to a controversial congressperson, sprayed them with a chemical, and let's say he was a really bad actor, if he had any kind of serious weapon, a knife, a firearm, a club, he was much bigger than her. He could have closed that distance and done very serious damage to her before that big security guy even came across. Where was security? The minute the guy got to his feet, security should have been between her and him, right? Why didn't that happen? And these are, well, right. But the other thing is, right, is somebody could be on you, physically get on you, right? And that goes into the whole question of weapon retention, which we won't get into. But if you're situationally aware and you have assets on your person that you can deploy, then that increases the likelihood of your safety, right? Because now you're not only paying attention and saying, is there someone in my vicinity that can cause me harm? But you also have contingency equipment where you can say, oh, this person is an imminent threat. So now you can start deciding, do we go hands? Do I draw a weapon and escalate depending on the level of threat? But the lack of awareness in public is just blows my mind. You see it in the street, you see it in the mall. And Elon, whether it was staged or whether it was a drunk dumbass, whatever the case is with this dude and spraying her with apple vinegar of all things, um, we need to pay attention because people are very riled up and they get triggered. People are getting triggered over anything. And it's no longer in the case where, and I don't wear controversial shit. I have a grunt style, so I have an American flag. I've had people come to me in the mall. I don't like your hoodie. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Who are you? Go away. You know, they don't like that response. But they can't just go and go, I don't like his hoodie. I don't care. I see you wear damn Che Guevara's shirt or communist flag. I don't care. Wear your damn communist flag. I mean, if you're running around naked, that's going to get my attention. I'll be like, well, what the hell is that about? But being aware of what's going on around you is going to be super important. And as we get closer to this election, this midterm, which is going to be very controversial because we've had a lot of states redistricting. Um, we've had a lot of removal of illegal migrants, which is going to affect your census count. If it affects your census count, it's going to affect the assignment of the number of House of Representative seats in the first place. So you add an increase in voters, plus you add an increase or change in your populace. It could have some very positive or negative effects on certain states. There's going to be controversy about that. People are going to go out. I don't like blue-haired tattooed hippos, but they exist. Well, yeah. Tension. Someone and Michelle. That's Michelle really hit the nail on the head here. Um, Situational awareness involves knowing, just being aware of the things in your vicinity that can have an impact or an effect on you. Um, Again, and you can train this, right? Because not everyone is naturally. Some people just naturally observe everything, right? Some people are tuned out, right? They can hyper focus on their phone and they have no idea. A damn Godzilla could run past them, burning up cars, and they wouldn't even notice because they were playing on TikTok or something. You can train yourself to get into that habit. Somebody earlier said walk in the parking lots with your face up. In other words, looking at eye level. Um, right. And if that's the case, and I've heard that number as well, Neil, that will definitely be a contentious topic. Whether you agree or disagree, in general, people agree or disagree. And John, that's another thing. If you're not aware, you will walk into this is one of those lessons I learned on the streets of the city as a kid. I wasn't paying attention. I went down a street I wasn't supposed to. I wound up in a fist fight that I did not win, and I took a pretty serious ass kicking. And guess what I learned? If you look down a street and it looks like people are looking for trouble, don't go down the street unless you want trouble. And particularly, I don't want to get, it's not high on my list of things to do any day to get punched in the face. So, yeah, you learn. But it's like people aren't learning. I don't know if they're so sheltered. It's in the places you don't want to look. Yeah, the fair. Uh, I'm really not sure why, but a lot of people not even going to vote. Yeah, and Bonnie's, I don't know if that's good or bad. Hey, Metal, long time no see. It's good to see you. Oh, dude, that's terrible. Um, if that was a symbolic, like the guy sprayed that on her in a symbolic way because of what you just, dude, oh my God. Metal just destroyed my train of thought with that one. That was funny. That was funny. All right. Um, whew. Anyway, play stupid game. Well, yeah, absolutely. They're still laughing at Metal. Uh, oh, no worry, JD. I appreciate you jumping in here. Um, Folks, pay attention to what's going on around you. Be mindful of what you're doing, right? Don't just drive in a zone. And we get tired. I don't know about you guys. Lately, work is crazy because we don't have enough people, right? Because the companies laid people off because the economy is still sputtering a little. Um, but we're doing a lot of work, right? We have cell phones, laptops. We take our work home. We don't unplug the way we should from work. A lot of us don't. And then you get fatigued, you get tired, and then you go to the mall and you're zoned out because you're exhausted. Try to discipline yourself to my bad. Try to discipline yourself to take the time to look around. So, like prepper homework, if you will, preparedness homework. If you go to the store tonight or in the foreseeable future, before you get out of your car, when you drive to the store, look around. You go to work, look around the parking garage. Is there anyone there? Transitional spaces in particular or somewhere you could be very vulnerable getting in and out of a car, getting in and out of your house. I've seen a lot of videos where people back into their driveway, don't look around them at all, get out of their car, get to the front door with their keys, and four guys jump on them. I actually back into my driveway. In Houston, I had a long ass driveway. It was like 50-foot driveway up the side of that property. I would back in from the main street all the way up. So when I turned off the car and looked up, I was facing the public. If somebody was running up the driveway at me, I very easily could turn that truck back on and go right forward, you know. So yeah, it's pay attention to what's going on around you. Be mindful. A lot of people, yeah, well, even the gray man concept, honestly, unless you're wearing a clown suit, most people wouldn't know what you were wearing. You could wear a flag, you could wear a bandana. People aren't even looking at us. Like today, it's probably easier to be gray, a gray man or gray woman, than it was 20 years ago because nobody's paying attention. They're all off in space with TikTok or something. Yeah. Or the potential that someone is carrying. Uh, and then, of course, in states like Texas, we still have mutual combat. So I don't know if you've heard about this. This is actually in the book laws. So in the law book, sorry, I said that backwards. Is if someone comes to you and they get confrontational, and I saw a guy do this. He was I don't know what he was doing. His friend was filming him, and somebody confronts him, and it didn't look staged. It looked like he pissed someone off, and the guy starts cursing at him, and the guy says, "Sir, are you challenging me to mutual combat?" And the guy who was confronting the video taker got really confused. He goes, "Huh?" And he goes, "Are you challenging me to mutual combat?" And the guy's like, "I don't know what that means." He said, "Well, we're in Texas, which means I'm asking you if you would like mutual combat. If you do, I will give her my phone and you and I will have a fight. And it is legal for me to punch you at that point. It's legal for me to attack you if you agree to it verbally." And the whole tone of the conversations, I guess the guy didn't realize because he's like, "Oh, you won't hit me because the cops will get you." If if you challenge someone in mutual combat, the terms have to be equal. That's the rule. And it can't have deadly force. So if I go to someone and say, "You want to have a nunchuck fight?" and they agree, and we have nunchuck, we can have a nunchuck fight until one of us goes down. Then the fight has to stop by law. The cops will, they may arrest you for the nunchucks, they won't arrest you for the fighting part. If you have a fist fight for no reason, you could be charged with affraying, which is fighting. If you agree to mutual combat, you might get a disturbing the peace. They can't charge you with fighting. And so, yeah, Mortal Kombat. I don't think that's the phrase, but that would be really funny. So it is on the books that you can say to someone, you could tell someone, "You know what, I'm going to get two broomsticks and we're going to have mutual combat via joust." And you can whack the shit out of each other with a broomstick and until someone goes down. Which or someone retreats, they go down or they surrender, they yield. So if you beat the crap out of the other guy, he drops the stick, he's like, I'm done, and you keep beating him, then you've broken the law. Until that point, it's mutual combat. If he says, "I accept mutual combat," it works. So I've seen men and women do this. Someone did it to a young lady who was a boxer, and another girl was bigger, and said, "Yeah, I'll have combat with you," and they got the living snot beaten out of her by this little boxer who was vicious with that left hook. But yeah, you can actually Therese is moving to Texas. Um, but anyway, going back to aside from mutual combat, which is very interesting law. I should do a video just on that. Um, pay attention to what's around you. People are acting bizarre. And this not I think the crap is there. Yeah, it is, Seawolf. And it's sad because what's funny is Minnesota as a whole, they're not having riots anywhere else in the state except that one little area in the downtown. Yeah, immigration raids, cops are arresting people, people are doing protesting. Nobody else is being violent. The cops aren't fighting with people, people aren't throwing things at the cops. Just there, around the Capitol, around the cameras. There are 20 other states going through the same, finding illegal criminals, guys with warrants, kicking them out of the country, Democrat and Republican. only there. And it's sad because now the people in Minnesota, uh, you can't go downtown for go shopping because people are freaking out. But folks, pay attention. And I highly recommend watch social media like X or Instagram, which tends to be a little more like play-by-play videos. And if you see, oh, there's going to be a protest, don't go downtown. If you go downtown, as somebody said earlier about, hey, Scrapper. Scrapper, you missed the conversation about mutual combat. You would have liked that. Still on the law books in Texas. um, yeah, no, absolutely. But folks, pay attention to your surroundings, and also remember something. Your color palette matters. I did a very early video. I really need to redo the video. It was probably one of my first 5 on this channel where I talk about this was during the 2021 riots, and I talk about the color palette. Somebody mentioned the black hoodie, mummy joke, uh, uh, a black hoodie, right? That's not a bad idea. Wearing darker colors, right? I wear this around town, nobody cares. I'm out in the country. I go to the city, I will have a plain black hoodie. I'll have some generic symbol like a bird or something. Um, I will have a very neutral, darker color palette. I'm not dressed in khaki. I'm not dressed in bright orange or green. I'm not dressed like Pikachu. You want to, if you travel or in your vehicle, you may want to have a change of clothes that is very color neutral, right? If you're in a company shirt, company X, and you're wearing business clothes, that's wonderful. And you may fit in downtown, but if a riot breaks out, you're going to kind of stand out. But if in your car you have that black hoodie, maybe some construction boots, take off those shoes, get rid of the slacks, put jeans, you're going to look like everyone else. And then the whole trick is to just meander away. Don't confront people. People ask you what you're doing, act like you can't hear them. What? I can't hear you. Disappear. Um, again, most people will not even be paying attention to you because people have zero situational awareness in general. But having the right color palette in a bad situation does help because you blend in more. But in any case, folks, look, uh, live on Mutual Combat. I should do a live stream explaining the law and how it works. Um, but and that's funny too. I've seen it happen a couple of times with TikTokers. They'll be out talking about something, somebody gets angry at them, and what this, like I said, this one guy, he goes, "Are you challenging me to mutual combat?" And everyone got confused. They like didn't know what he was talking about. He's like, in the law in Texas, if you and I agree to mutual combat, we can have a fist fight and not get arrested. So here, I'm going to give my wife my phone, and you and I will have combat. And the guy's like, yeah, he didn't know that like he could get away with getting a beating, and the other guy wouldn't go to jail. So funny, but hey, Chuck, good to see you. Uh, no, but you can non-lethal is the thing. So fists, kicks. I think somebody, and I don't know. Don't take this for gospel. Um, but like broomsticks, something round where you can't stab each other, but you can club the crap out of the other guy. And you could go like Little John and Robin Hood, whack, whack, whack with sticks, and somebody goes down, the fight's over, and you won, and that was it. Again, they may get you for the nunchucks or the stick, but they won't charge you with fighting in public because you agreed to have a fist fight. So interesting, interesting. Anyway, folks, look, be situationally aware. Ilhan Omar's security had zero awareness. She had zero awareness. When that guy stood up, whether even if it was staged, let's say it was staged, which I suspect it may have been, but I don't know. If it was staged, the security guy should have made it look real. Like the minute the guy got up, he should have been like, hey, and then she gets sprayed and he grabs the guy. He doesn't wait till the dude sprays her with chemical and then goes, oh, wait a minute, let me grab you now, and takes him down. Um, that just, I'm not buying that. But anyway, hey, hunting stuff with J&J, good to see him. Uh, My cane has a surprise. If it's one of those canes, that's very cool, by the way. Uh, right. I would have fired my whole security team. Like, you had one job. But you'd think a good security guy would be at either side of the speaker, especially a controversial one. And if somebody in vicinity gets up and poses a threat, that guy, security, should be going to deal with the threat. The second guy should be going to protect the principal, right? Think about the way Secret Service works, right? They protect some protect the president, the other ones go and deal with the threat. Um, that guy did neither. He was just a potato, like he was just a doofus, and then he symbolically grabbed the stupid guy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You guys be careful. Pay attention to what's going on. Have situational awareness at all times because people are acting out. And now every time they see something like this, somebody gets shot, somebody gets sprayed, somebody gets in a fight, it pisses them off on social media and they go into the public acting like assholes. So Nick's up there. She should have been it was a setup. You would think I really right. Took the guy down, came through the door to do it. Yeah, if he did, then that's embarrassing. Like, where was your security? Where was your security? And you notice there were no cops there. Normally, if a congressperson speaking, there'll be one cop in the room off to the side. A real cop would have been on that dude. The minute he stood up, he would have been across the floor. What the hell? Anyway, either that or they have absolutely incompetent security. In any case, folks, be safe. Uh, be careful out there. Situational awareness. Be mindful of your surroundings and plan your trips. The weather's still a little in some places. Be careful out there. And you guys, thanks for joining me tonight. God bless, Godspeed. I'll see you all later this week.